Okay, quickly, just to let you know what we can perceive what's happening. The Speaker Edosi House of Assembly apparently at his voting center in Iwepme. We also have correspondent Ferdinand engaging him on what just happened. Okay, we lost signal there, but we hope to be able to establish contact with Ferdinand, who was just on the verge of talking with the Speaker of the House of Assembly, who is also one of the candidates in the Eastern West, Eastern Central, and Igwebe Federal Constituency contest. We saw a bit of skirmishes there in that particular voting center. We can't tell exactly what transpired, so we hope to get in touch with Ferdinand and he can update us with what is the problem with that particular location. But as is always the case, the election is just starting and a whole lot is happening. Not too far away from us here at Idunwina Primary School, we understood that there were some shootings there and some electorate who had voted in the presidential and National Assembly election, they can't find their names anymore. In fact, the list that has O's, you can't find the names anymore. Now we're at Daura Live where Mr. President is voting. We just give you this live feed. We'll be back with you in a moment. But now, casting his vote in Daura, Katsina State, his hometown. We're yet to see his wife, Her Excellency Aisha Buhari. She came with him last time to cast her vote as well. And he's about not thumbprinting, and after this, he will go ahead to cast his vote, put it in the ballot box. Some of his aides are just around him. This is supposed to be a private affair. A private affair. Mr. President is supposed to be in the cubicle all alone to cast his vote. So some of his aides are with him. We can see many of them just behind him, beside him, and all of that. I mean, because it's Mr. President and his aides, they need to be there just to ensure that it's secured, yes. So, Mr. President has already thumbprinted and is going to drop his ballot paper in the ballot box. You should expect that he will vote for his party, obviously. That has been done. And then, like we prayed for and we hoped for, he didn't display his ballot paper like he did the last time. More stories coming in from the field in this election. We have that accreditation and voting is also ongoing in Ward 1, Egorege Unit 14 in the Kenya local government area in Ogun State. This is the voting unit of the Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibanjo. Amowa Jonah is live from Ogun State, so we'll be keeping you updated with that as well. We also have feeds coming in from Lagos, where the President-elect, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as well as the incumbent governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, will also be casting their votes. We hope to be able to streamline the signals from Lagos so you can see exactly what is happening. Okay, we have, this is coming from Ondo State. This is coming from Ondo State. Okay, this is from, okay, accreditation and voting is also ongoing in Ward 1, Gurege Unit 14 in the Kene local government area in Ogun State. And this is the voting unit. We told you about this before, of the Vice President, Yemi Banjo. We are awaiting his arrival to cast his vote. That's the report from Ogun State by Okowa Jonah. The Vice President is expected to cast his vote here. And all is, we're waiting for his arrival to give you the live feed as well of the voting of Mr. President. Okay, the momentum is building up as far as the election is concerned. More and more people are coming to the voting centers just to be able to exercise their franchise. I know that all eyes are on Lagos to see how the participation will look like, and look at and see how the participation by the electorate will look like. And we hope that all of the things we heard and we saw in the last election, the presidential and National Assembly election, they will not repeat themselves. Okay, we lost audio in that visuals where Mr. President was actually having an engagement with the media, having cast his vote. I wanted to speak to the press and express himself as far as the conduct of the election is concerned within his voting area in Daura. So we hope to be able to bring you that much later. But now, Governor Okowa, the governor of Delta State, just cast his vote at Ward 2, Unit 17 in the Ikan Northeast local government area of Delta State. That's coming from Austin Azu, who is covering Delta State. We also have Benga Ahmed covering Delta State, particularly the Warri axis of Delta State. So all the reports are pouring in torrents, reflective of how the election is going in different parts of the country. And we'll be establishing signal with Lagos, and we'll update you in a moment with what's happening in Lagos. We can see here, even though you can't see it for a moment, but that will come to you shortly. We also told you earlier that at Idowina Voting Center, there were shootings there. A particular lady complained of not seeing her name again, even though she voted there before during the presidential and National Assembly elections. So what could have possibly happened? What could have possibly happened? That's the governor of Delta State, Senator Dr. Okowa, casting his vote at Ward 2, Unit 17 in Ikan Northeast local government area of Delta State. And I'm sure probably will be having an engagement with the press after casting his vote. We'll also be availing you that in the course of this program. The governor of that state, Ifeanyi Okowa, on the screen now, casting his vote, dropping his ballot paper in the ballot box after thumbprinting. Yeah. We recall very much what transpired in the last presidential and National Assembly election, which has really brought to questions and concerns about his leadership in that state. So we're back to Ogun State, specifically in Ward 1, Gurege Unit 3 in Ikene local government area, where accreditation is in progress, voting is in progress. We're told that INEC officials and materials arrived very early, and the BVAS machine functioning properly. So that has allayed the fears of many Nigerians. Accreditation and voting is also ongoing in this same Ward 1, Gurege Unit 14 in Ikene local government area of Ogun State. The voting unit of Mr. Vice President Professor Yemi Oshibanjo, he'll still be expected here to cast his vote. I'm sure any moment from now, he will be here to cast his vote. So back to the studio, some of the things we talked about in terms of expectation, early arrival of voting materials, the numbers of voters improving and increasing. We're seeing all of that improving. Professor Otoke.
Commitment.
Commitment on the part of the people.
Yes.
Or on the part of the officials.
On part of the officials.
Okay.
Yes, is what is leading to what we are observing now.
So they select the elections that they will show commitment to.
That is why I have used the word commitment.
Okay.
If you are given a responsibility, and within you have that will that you must make a difference in terms of performance, in terms of achieving results, it's possible. You get it. But a case where you allow your personal interest to now override maybe a national responsibility that will be given to you, then you start seeing off records. If ballot box are purchased and has been moved from Abuja to Benin, and it gets here before the regulated time, I don't see any reason why that ballot box cannot get from INEC office in Benin to Saple Road, like we observed in presidential election, where from INEC office to Saple Road as at about 12 o'clock, 12:01, ballot boxes of materials and even the officials have not gotten to polling units. Yeah. So it raises questions how committed we are in terms of achieving this process. Okay. That is my little submission. All right.
Prof, you want to add something to that?
Yes. Besides commitment, like you said, I think Nigerians are getting more sensitive because over to their interest in the electoral process. Because over the years, there was I don't care attitude and all that. But by the time the economic system really overheated the quality of their lifestyle, and the money scarcity of funds now joined the whole euphoria of suffering, and so many things played out, that the average Nigerian are like, hey, this time around, I'm going to be involved, because enough is enough. I must make sure that the electoral process takes its course, yeah, and all that. But the question is it a positive development? The answer is yes. Yeah. It's a positive development. It goes to show that the Nigerian democratic system is really evolving, is germinating. In fact, germinating at a very, very high rate of success because the average Nigerian is now more sensitive to what concerns their lifestyle, the life of their family, their future, and all that. We are also aware that there was a time insecurity was terrible in this country. And so people are also sensitive to that. The high inflation rate, prices of goods and services are very, very high in the market. It's like the late musician said, Fela Rason Kuti, in blessed memory. He said, suffering and smiling. Nigerians over the years, they were suffering and smiling. I think the suffering has got to its zenith, that they are now saying, hey, enough's enough. We must be involved in the process and ensure that we don't just put party there, but we put individuals there that can look at their problems and are in a better position to address their problems, and that is why they are now voting for personalities. I think Keke Tegman won an election on
Okada State.
Okada to say yes. That's the positive there. So the individuals they are looking at. Though we also know the beauty of this 2023 election is that the wind of obedience also has some positive development.
Okay.
Yes, positive development in the sense that you don't just go out there and start formulating figures.
Okay.
You must meet the people.
Okay.
And that is why we are seeing governors who suddenly they are becoming hairdressers. We have seen governors who don't go to market before. They are now in the market, spare parts and all that, talking directly with the people. It's a positive development, and we're happy for it. But INEC, do your work, encourage us. I think that is the issue.
Fantastic.
Yes, that is the issue.
Fantastic. You raised a fundamental issue in your analysis, which I also want Professor Cyril Twakian to comment on the fact that there is a new resurgence of the electorate disposition towards the election. 97 registered voters in this election. And then we have about 97 million registered voters. 97.
Yes.
Then we have about 83 million voters, PVCs collected for this election. So about 83 million people will be deciding the fate of the governors and the House of Assembly that are. What does this portend, looking at the future of this country? Is this sustainable?
Yes, it could. It could. How, then the question you will ask me is, why do you feel it could be sustainable? When you carry the interests of the people along, then you are bound to command the people to follow. So if those who are presently in charge of governance performs to the expectations of the voters at home, the electorate, that interest drags them at every point that there is call to now decide who and who makes up the next set of people to sit on that seat or to make that decision in terms of governance. The interest will pull the people out on their own. If you look at the trend now, it's not even the weight of campaigns, because I've even seen lesser campaigns in this election process compared to others, where you see massive movements of campaign using different means. You see musicians at strategic points, even blocking roads, creating a little bit of traffic so that it will drag people's interest to say what's happening there. They will say one party or so party is contesting. Then you now see that fear in those who feels they are masters in the game, now saying no, the game is no more easy. Then they now leave their house and go to club to talk to people. They go to market to talk to mothers, to talk to persons in the market square. They go to schools. Fine, good. If that now starts, I see the possibility that when this section is over and they start planning for the ones to come, more components will be added in terms of who and who are we supposed to meet in order to attract votes. It's not somebody just sitting down somewhere and say, because I am a sitting governor and it's my party that is now in this state, it will sustain, at least for the next 5-6 elections. So they will now go back to their drawing table and start adjusting and adding more components to it. I see possibility in next elections where campaigns will even go further to people going to outside going to houses. They will go to village markets, and you will see some will even from the sky using helicopters and all that to throw handbills so that they make sure they reach the people, because the voters are now aware that that card they are holding is stronger than the bullets, is stronger than that drug you will take and think of how to snatch a ballot box. So they are even now ready to protect their votes themselves. So it will carry along to next elections that will come, and it will build up. Yeah, and when that happens and there is a build up of that, then there is projections that better governance will come. Because one or two who are on seats now that we are seeing, they are on the hot seat, they are campaigning here and there, looking for votes. If it was before, they don't feel perturbed, they don't feel disturbed.
Let me just pause here, Prof. Let's quickly link up with Okosa Uwangwe, who is joining us live. Fosa, good morning. Thank you for joining live studio.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Solid Duke.
Yes, quickly talk to
so
us
I
about.
want to give you situation reports from Ego, from some of the centers I've visited so far.
Okay.
I went to Olua Primary School, and voting process is going on smoothly. However, the turnout is very, very different from the one we observed during the presidential election. So some of them I spoke to told me that they decided not to even come out to vote because the presidential election, their wish, so to speak, was not met during the presidential election. So everything is going on smoothly. So we went to the town hall at Uselu there, the Uselu town hall. Same situation, the turnout low, voting process going on smoothly, the papers working fine. And we also went to 1-8 area, specifically some units 51, 52, 53 at the Universal area, where one of the House of Assembly candidates, Natasha Osawaru, voted. So the process also went well, so to speak, as it is now. And she even confirmed that though the turnout is okay, and she's happy with the turnout so far. At least that's the areas I've visited so far, and so far so good. Nothing, no hiccup for the now.
Talk to us quickly about the security on the ground. What is the level of security coverage?
Yes, unlike the presidential where you hardly get any checkpoints on the roads, this one is a little bit different because we've seen some policemen marking roadblock and checkpoints here.
All right, thank you very much, Efosangwe. Thank you very much. Now we're taking you straight to Lagos to keep you abreast with what is happening in Lagos. A while ago, we saw the governor of Lagos State coming forth to cast his vote, and that a bit explains why there seems to be this rowdiness of semi-rowdiness here. Some of the key actors, key stakeholders are coming out now to cast their votes, and we've been on track just to help you make sense of what is happening in Lagos State. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is about now casting his vote in Lagos State, and we'll be talking with one of our correspondents just to be able to Okay, we're getting live feeds now from Lagos, where the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, is on the verge of casting his vote. It explains why there's a bit of rowdiness there, particularly from the media that wants to get clean shots, clear shots, and shots that will actually have a very robust description of what is happening there. We hope to be able to link up with our Lagos base to update you with what is happening in the governorship and state House of Assembly election in that state. Earlier, we saw the governor coming out to cast his vote. We're sure that, as always the case for a state chief executive, once it's done, we'll be able to talk to the media on his assessment of the conduct of the exercise so far, based on what's happening in the environment and even across the state. I mean, being the chief security officer of the state, you have a handle on some of the things that are happening across the state. But we'll be able to do that as we make progress in the live coverage of the 2023 election. Now, we talked along the lines of the fact that this election has created so many upsets, and that's very, very key. In terms of the number of PVCs collected, we're talking about the region of 83 million.
Yes.
Total number of registered voters, over 97 million. But we're beginning to feel the impact of the outcome of the presidential election, yes, which Professor Tony Jiwere talked about, even though he said he wasn't a professor of doom, or as it were. But that's manifesting. Professor Wangwe gave us a vivid account, yes, that the turnout in the areas he monitored so far, yes, is far lower than what obtained in the last election. Yes. And that's not connected with the outcome of the last election. You want, yes, to say something on that?
Yes, it boils down to what education do we give to the voters? Because if they know that every election is as important as the other that has been done, yeah, then they will carry on that zeal to make sure they complete the process in terms of building up a governance that will achieve their heart desire. Okay. So if you say, because you voted in presidential election, like I said before, and your candidate did not win, or your party did not win, because of that reason you are not coming out today to vote, that election is federal. You are in the state. So it's like you have even left your house unclean, and you have cleaned somebody else's house far away in Abuja. So it doesn't make any sense. Yes. So the electorate should be enlightened, should be educated on the importance of every election that comes, so that that interest they have can be carried along. Or else some of them is out of that lack of knowledge that they take such decisions. Because when you meet one or two, you run into them in the street and you are talking, you see, their level of exposition matters a lot. They will just say, forget it. The one I voted the other time, did they count it? But he or she wasn't there when those votes were being counted. Okay. It must have been counted. So all those issues needs to be attended to in terms of what education does INEC as a body too, in terms of sensitizing the voters of their interests or the importance for them to come out at every point to make that their choice that will build up the governance.
All right. My brother, I think it's more than education. They have a department called voters education. So I think the Nigerians of today, they are more sensitive as to what concerns their daily lifestyle, the quality of their lives. I think this is the issue, the quality of their lives. Because we're almost having, they've been going through almost 8 years of suffering, hardship. You know, the economy is not favorable at all. Standard of living is...
This voter education, yes, that we're talking about.
Yes, no, it's more than voter education. I'm saying it's more practical.
Is it the sole responsibility of INEC, for example?
No.
What about the political parties?
Yes, but
also have the responsibility to
I will get
educate
there, but
and mobilize.
But what I'm saying is more than voters education. I think it's more of a practical thing. What people's feelings the voters' feelings, Nigerians' feelings as to what are the prices of goods and say, is it favoring them? Do they have a future in this country where they will say, yes, I'm a Nigerian, I can meet up with my basic needs of life? I think that is the stimulating factor that is encouraging people to really come out. And where they think that, oh, they've gone in the first phase